Well, the Taliban has seized control of at least 5 provincial capitals out of 34 in Afghanistan as the militants press on in their offensive while U.S. forces finalize their pullout from the war-torn country. Joining us now to discuss is Afghanistan veteran and Vice President of Research and Policy at the Charles Koch Institute, William Ruger. Sir, thank you so much first for your service, and we appreciate you for joining us this morning. Will, a running analysis of Law and War Journal says at least 229 districts across Afghanistan are under Taliban control, and that's with 66 under government control and 112 contested. Now, how concerning are these rapidly growing numbers?
Well, I don't think they changed the basic logic that I think both the Trump administration and the Biden administration had in mind when they decided that the United States needed to withdraw from America's longest war. So I think they had internalized that you would see messiness on the ground in Afghanistan. You would see the Taliban increase its footprint. But the basic logic was that America's national interest did not require that the United States have a permanent troop presence there. And I think when President Trump started this process of withdrawing the United States and President Biden is now completing it, I think that this logic was cooked in. So I think we shouldn't get too overwhelmed by news from Afghanistan, because control of certain parts of the ground of Afghanistan aren't necessarily key threats to the United States here at home or the conditions of our prosperity abroad.
Do you think that they expected it to get this bad?
I think it's probably a little quicker than we expected. I think it's probably quicker even than the Taliban expected. But again, it just doesn't change the basic logic of why this was the right move. And I think we're seeing that play out. And I would counsel the Biden administration to stay the course, to have confidence in the decision that was supported by nearly 2/3 of Americans, including veterans and military families. And so I think that they won't suffer politically from keeping America's national interests first and not really reacting too hard to what's happening on the ground day to day. Because at the end of the day, when the United States is out of Afghanistan and these challenges face the Afghan government, it's going to recede, I think, from the headlines and not be an issue, especially as the United States deals with this Delta variant and other domestic challenges here at home that will have Afghanistan recede, and in foreign policy, issues like China come to the fore.
Yeah, no, exactly. The U.S. envoy for Afghanistan is expected to press the Taliban to stop their military offensive at talks at Qatar's capital this week. Do you expect anything to come out of these meetings?
I don't see, again, this changing anything. If the Taliban has operational momentum and the United States is withdrawing, and they know that, then I think it's going to be very difficult for there to be any real significant changes, or unless, of course, you saw setbacks on the battlefield. You see the government of Afghanistan really trying to step up and changing the local balance of power. That's when you might start to see progress outside of the fighting. And the problem is that the Afghan government, for 20 years, the United States has been trying to build the Afghan government, to do that nation building, to build its military capacity. And you're seeing it failing on the battlefield, which is, I think, a real indictment of the 20 years of our activities there, and an indictment of the Afghan government. And I think that staying any longer is not going to change that, right? It's not going to change the fact that the military in Afghanistan, the Afghan military, is really a paper tiger and is not really stepping up to really defend and to really support its military. And a big part of that is the problems in Kabul. There are a lot of brave Afghans trying to fight, but if they're not resupplied, if they're not given pay for their service, if you're seeing people fleeing the battlefield, again, it's just a real indictment of what's been going on there. And I think further plays into why the United States really should leave this conflict. And it was the right decision by both President Trump and President Biden.
Yeah, Will, I want to quickly move on to something else that a lot of people are talking about. You're a veteran, and now members of the U.S. military will be required to get the COVID-19 vaccine beginning next month, and under a plan laid out by the Pentagon. What do you make of this decision?
Well, I've been vaccinated. I would encourage my fellow, sailors, soldiers, airmen, Marines to get vaccinated. But I personally did think it was respectful of the U.S. government not to mandate it for military for our troops, because of the fact that it was experimental. It hadn't been FDA approved. And so I did think it was the right thing to do to give people who are here at home, right? That's different than people deploying, but people out here at home, so that we could see how things go. But again, that's mostly my personal preference. I was vaccinated, and I think it is important to get vaccinated for adults. And so But I did think that the military and the Pentagon going slowly on this was being respectful of our troops.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we thank you so much for your insight. Well, Ruger, we appreciate it, and thank you for your service again, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.